To this lesson on paddling wear. So this is a lesson on all the things you'll need when you're on trip while you're paddling. Okay. And it's the stuff that you want available to you as well while traveling on a trip. It's not what we would necessarily pack entirely for the trip because we have all of the stuff for at camp that we're going to have as well. And it's going to be sealed up and put away, so you're not going to have access to it. All right, so I'm going to start with a couple of the essential things, which is one, a paddle. And you may not have your own paddle, that's okay. If you have your own paddle, if you have access to a decent paddle, I recommend you bring it. The rentals that we get are not necessarily the best. They're all designed to take a beating and last forever, and with that comes a lot of weight. And so they tend to be a bit heavy. They work just fine, so if you don't have a paddle, don't worry about it. It's not like it's the end of the world. This is my own personal paddle that I bring on trip every year. Okay. Then you'll want to have a life jacket or a PFD. This is my own personal PFD. If you don't have your own personal PFD, don't panic. Don't get too worried about it. You'll be fine. We rent them, and you can have your own, or you will have your own for the trip. I personally find if you buy one and it has a few pockets, has a few nice features, and it's comfortable, it's probably better than the ones they rent, which again are basic design ones that they're required to have. Okay. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. So first thing I talk about is footwear. A big part of canoe tripping is portaging, and having a good pair of proper footwear is important. And there's a lot of debate about what is necessarily the best. I'm going to tell you what I recommend and why. Okay, many of the trails are pretty rugged. They can be extremely muddy. It's almost impossible to keep your feet dry throughout the entire trip. Although I've had students do it or try to do it and been fairly successful. It is very it adds a lot of complexity to the trip, but you can do it if you're patient and you're willing to do it. My recommendation is to find an old pair of running shoes. This is an old pair of Adidas running shoes. They're made mostly out of synthetic, not a lot of leather or heavy components to them. You want to have good laces that you can tie up because you need to tie your shoes on tight so that they can't get sucked off your feet if you step into some mud. Okay. It's good to have a decent sole. If they have still some traction left, that's good. Although I don't get too worried about it. It is nice to have that. A lot of times it doesn't matter what you step on or what kind of traction you have. If you're stepping in mud, you're going to slip and slide no matter what. So an old pair of runners is great. Something that at the end of the day you might even consider or be thinking about throwing out. Okay. I am personally buy my own shoes for this, and I have a pair of water shoes which look a lot like these. They're designed to have materials that will drain the water away and not absorb them. In fact, there's a mesh right here in the side of the shoe to allow water to run out, even holes on the bottom to allow water to run out of the shoe so you don't carry extra water, but definitely designed for that. I like them because I can also put my orthotics inside. You can bring a pair of, as long as they're closed toe sandals, like closed toe sandal Keens, Morel makes a pair. They are acceptable. What you cannot have is sandals that have an open toe, like flip flops do not work for me. Some of my kids do like to wear Crocs. I highly don't recommend it. For one, they're very little traction. Two, they very easily slip off your feet. And three, I find my foot slides around inside them a lot, sometimes allowing blisters and other things. If you can have a pair of shoes that your feet are comfortable with already, you'll reduce the chance of getting blisters out there. I don't wear socks inside my shoes. Some people don't like that feeling, so they'll want a pair of socks. If you're going to wear socks, make sure they're a really light, thin, synthetic sock, like a runner sock that you're going to put inside, because they are, generally speaking, your feet will get wet. And there's an advantage to allowing your feet to get wet. Huge advantage to having them be wet, okay? So that's my shoes, okay? Slip my shoe back on. In this case, I can tighten it up pretty good. All right, I'm going to move my way up. What I'm wearing underneath here is a swimsuit of some sort. This is what they call a triathlon suit. Uh, it's probably not something most boys have, and that's okay. If you don't have this, you'll probably just not wear a suit like this. You're going to wear shorts that you can go into the water with. They should be not cotton, but synthetic. And my shorts are not cotton. They're a synthetic material. And you really want, for the boys, you want them to have pockets. The girls will most likely wear their bathing suit underneath, whether it's a one piece or a two piece. That's entirely up to you. It's what you're comfortable wearing. So you'll wear your bathing suit during the day. That way, if you know you're hot, the end of a long portage, and you need to dip into the water to cool off, you have that option to just take your shorts off, take your life jacket off, take your t-shirt off, and slide into the water and cool off. And trust me, when it's really warm and you've worked really hard and the bugs are biting you and you're just like, I need to get somewhere to cool off and relax, sitting down in the water at the edge of a river or a lake is just a wonderful thing. And you don't want to have to get all of your clothes wet, okay? So you want to be able to take these things off. That's what I would do. Okay, your shorts that go over top should have pockets. So these particular shorts have pockets with zippers, which is even better because that means that I put something in there, I can zip them in nice and tight, and I don't have to worry about it falling out and me losing it. Okay, as I work my way up, I have a t-shirt on. Okay, this should not be made out of cotton. 100% synthetic in this case. It dries really quick, thin, sort of an athletic t-shirt. You see lots of these materials out there nowadays. Most kids have something of this nature to wear anyway. Another option exists is if you want to wear your KDSS t-shirt, okay, that you get with the course, this is a great way to go. It's long sleeve. You can wear this as the shirt that you wear, but I would consider, this is pretty warm for me on many of the trips, and I don't bother to do that. But it is an option that exists. You can have it on board or available to you if you want, okay? So the t-shirts there. As I move my way up, I will have a hat, okay? I won't allow kids to come on a trip without a hat. It does not have to be a full brim hat like mine. This one has got 360 degrees protection from the sun, from the rain, stops rain from dripping down my neck, all kinds of different things. It's very useful. Most kids will probably just bring along a ball cap like this, and that's just fine, okay? Ball caps work really good, and they serve their purpose very nicely, okay? In fact, lots of times I sometimes just prefer a ball cap, but keep in mind that it's not going to protect my neck from the sun, and it's not going to protect me from rain down the back of my neck as well either, okay? I will usually have a pair of sunglasses on as well. It's just my thing. I don't recommend you bring your best sunglasses. Most sunglasses do not float. And so if they fall in the water, they're gone for good. I've lost more than one pair in Algonquin Park. And lots of times I bring broken ones or ones that I don't really particularly like the most because I don't want to take my best glasses on these kind of trips. For some reason I have a habit of dropping them in the water. Okay. Now, a few other things that I definitely want to have nearby for me, okay? Personally, I like to have a knife nearby. So this particular life jacket actually has a nice little knife that clips into this holder. It's really handy. I always know I have a knife on my life jacket, which is really useful. But probably more important, and that's completely optional. You don't have to have that. For me, though, what is absolutely essential on board somewhere is two things. Bug spray, and this is Muscle bug spray, okay? This is what I recommend. This is a 50 milliliter bottle, and you can get it in a 100 milliliter bottle as well. That, I guarantee you, you won't go through 100 milliliters, but 50, I've seen kids use it all up in a trip. So you have to decide where you want to go with that. Then you want a bug net, and these are fairly inexpensive. You can sometimes pick them up at the dollar store for $1, okay? And I'll show you, by the way, if you don't have a pocket on your life jacket, this is where your pocket on your shorts becomes really handy. Having that right there, I'm putting that bug spray in that pocket. All you do with this is you slip it over top of your hat, and you really want your hat on because your hat acts to keep the bug net away from your head. Okay, so you gotta kind of got caught under my brim there, the back, and this keeps the bug away from my face. When I'm portaging and moving around, paddling, if there's a lot of bugs around, this protects my face from those bugs, and I don't have to worry about getting at them. And trust me, there are many times on a trip where you'll just hear the bugs, you'll even see them just right around in front of your face. And this bug net can do a lot to protect you from that. Okay. And again, if I take my bug net off, this is a great place here to stick it into a pocket. If you don't have a zipper, sometimes they have a flap or something to guarantee that they won't be lost. Okay. It's a very important thing. Another thing that's on my life jacket that's quite important is my whistle. You will get a whistle, and not all the life jackets have them, but you want to have your whistle on your life jacket so that if there's ever a problem, you can blow your whistle and call for assistance or alert other people that there is a problem, okay? That's what they're generally used for. My life jacket has more pockets, so I sometimes have first aid stuff in here. I have a radio that goes into this particular pocket here. Sometimes I have a lighter, various things that I can put in. I even sometimes have spare batteries that I keep on board right here on my life jacket. It's a really good, fairly nice life jacket that I really like. Okay. Now there's a couple other things that you want to have handy clothing wise. I want to have a raincoat. So this is my favorite raincoat. It's made by Columbia. It's not a cheap one, but it's really good and 100% waterproof. Okay. This is going to protect me 100% from rain. Okay, it's not going to let anything through. Now I will sweat in it. So one of the things too is if I'm really cold, I'll wear this, put this on. I might take my life jacket on and put this on underneath if I want. And this particular style of rain jacket, okay, it's pretty good. I also have another kind of rain jacket that I like a lot, and I often bring this one on trip, and I buy it as an extra large on purpose so that I can wear it right over top of my life jacket. So this way I can be put up, if I can zip it up if I want to. I won't bother here, but I can have it like this. I can even put my hood on, and I can be paddling away, going down a river in the pouring rain, and I have done that, and I'm keeping myself dry. Even my life jacket is staying dry, which is really kind of nice. It's a nice added bonus or added feature of this particular thing. So I have two different ones. I have to decide before a trip which one I want to bring. If I think it's going to be a real wet trip, this baby's coming, and if I think it's going to be a dry trip, I might take the other one and use it as also a coat around camp if I want to at night. Either way, I can use these at camp as well if needed, especially if it's raining. Okay. Now, a few other things that you're going to need. Each person will be given a water bottle. This is your hydration source while on trip. You can put water in it or whatever beverage of flavoring choice you like. So if it's a juice or a Crystal Light flavoring or Kool-Aid flavoring, you can add that to it. No inappropriate beverages. And then you will also get a bottle that looks like a Gatorade bottle. This is a vitamin water bottle, and this will be full of snacks. Generally speaking, it's a gorp or good old raisins, peanuts, and various other dried fruits that we put in here. Very healthy, very nutritious, and lots of good calories for you if you get hungry while you're on your trip. You get a whole bottle like this to cover you for the entire trip. If you did run out, there's sometimes snacks in the camp pails that you can steal and refill this with, okay? And each person gets one of these, a bottle and a snack bottle, okay? Now, another thing that you might want on board is some sunscreen, okay? This is a fairly good sized bottle, a couple hundred mils, 236 mils. If you can find like 100 mil or 125 milliliter bottle, I highly recommend that. Smaller is better. You can also have one of these and share it with 2 or 3 people. I personally don't use a lot of sunscreen, but I also do keep some in my first aid kit. So there's always kids who don't bother to bring any, thinking they don't need any, and then they're like, oh, I think I'm burning, and so we get some sunscreen on them to try to help prevent that. This is a 30. If you can get a 50 or 60, that's maybe even better. And try to find something that's waterproof. This one is a waterproof style sunscreen. So if you're getting sunscreen, keep that in mind. Okay. Now, we don't want all this stuff just laying around in our boat. And we definitely don't want to have to deal with it when we go on a portage. We want to be able to contain it. So each canoe gets a 20-liter stuff sack like this. This is a 20-liter dry bag. and it's used to collect all that stuff that you're not going to actually have on your person, in your life jacket, in your short pockets. If it's not in there, it's in here. It's kind of like a purse. Okay, think of it like a purse. We're not going to leave things just lying around in the canoe and getting wet and maybe getting lost. So I'm going to take my raincoats, and I'm going to pretend that one of these raincoats belongs to me and one belongs to my canoeing partner. And at the beginning of the day, we're going to load our purse up and just stuffing them down at the bottom. And the reason I probably put my life jacket, or sorry, my raincoats down at the bottom is because, yeah, it's like hopeful that we're not going to have to use them, and I'm just going to have them along for the ride. And then I'm going to put maybe my sunscreen, my snacks in here, and my water. They're going to be towards the top. So if I want to stop sometime along the trip, I have that option. If I want to put my bug spray and my bug net in here, maybe my phone. I want to bring my phone along, or a camera. I would recommend anything electronic that you actually wrap it in plastic itself, maybe a good strong Ziploc baggie or some other waterproof thing, and then put it in here. You can have it aboard. I mean, if you want to bring a camera, you want to have it available to you. And this bag will be available to you, and I recommend you have it so that you can open it whenever you want. Sometimes kids even will leave their water bottles lying around in the boat nearby. That's okay. But when we portage, they can go into this purse, so to speak, this 20-liter stuff sack. And I'll show you here how we seal it up. First of all, try to get any excess air out. And then I'm going to roll it on this black strip once, twice, 3 times is the minimum. Then I'm going to go 4, maybe even 5 if I can. Okay, whatever's necessary. There's a bit of extra air in here, and that's okay. And then once I've got it around enough times, I swing the 2 buckles together. I'm kind of pinching it around, holding the folds together, and swing it around, and I go like this. And you can see there's air in here, and when I squeeze on it, the air's not coming out. Well, if I can't get that air out, water ain't getting in, and that's a good sign. It also means that if this falls in the water, it's going to float, which is a really good thing. And when we portage, this is a lot easier to carry than having to carry a water bottle here and a quart bottle there and a raincoat here, whatever. All these things can be contained into this one bag, and this is carried for the 2 of you, and it makes life a lot easier, okay? So I kind of think of it like a purse. Some of these 20-liter stuff sacks do get little holes, pinholes in them, and we always look for that to try to patch them before a trip. But it's a good idea that, that nothing really in here is going to get wet, that's going to get damaged, right? So if you do have your phone or something, you do have it in something else, just so it won't get damaged. It has a hook on it, so we can clip it to another pack and carry it, okay? All right, now, in addition to this, there's one other thing I want to talk to you about before I finish up this, is that when I'm heading up to Algonquin Park, kids will do this. They'll dress like this. They'll put on their gear. You're going to wear this same clothes for 5 days. 5 days. You really want to wear it driving up and driving back? I don't. In fact, nobody's going to like you on that ride home if you're wearing this on the ride home. What I recommend is on the morning of that we're leaving, get dressed into something relaxing that's comfortable for you to wear, anything. Sometimes I will put my shorts on, and my swimsuit on just because it's easier. But I'm not going to wear this t-shirt. I'm going to get a different set of clothes. And when I get up there, I'm going to have my clothes, this stuff, in a small duffel bag or backpack or even a shopping bag. I don't care. I'm not even going to wear these shoes. I'm going to have different shoes on. And when I get up to the put-in where we put the canoes in and our trip starts, I'm going to get dressed in this, and I'm going to take the clothes off that I have on and put them in this bag. And there's going to be basically fresh or reasonably clean underwear and shorts and a shirt. And I might even throw in a deodorant or body odor stick in here, so that maybe some Axe spray, whatever is necessary, so that when I get back after 5 days in the bush and I've been stinking and I don't even realize how bad I'm stinking, I have something clean to change into before I get in that car and I drive for 5 hours home. Don't forget, we'll be stopping for some food, so it won't be just your friends around you that's going to see you and maybe smell you. You're going to get in line to get some burgers at the burger joint that we stopped to, Weber's, on the way home. So it's a good idea to set yourself up in that manner that you have that change of clothes available for you. Something I didn't really do very often when I was first started doing it and realized that this is stupid. I'm arriving at my car where I could have something clean to get into, and it's kind of nice to have that. All right, so that's paddling wear. That's all the stuff you're going to use and have access to while you're on trip. Hope you learned a lot, and don't forget, there's a couple more videos, one particularly on all your camp clothes. So it's a completely different set of things that you're going to wear.